Nyay scheme, 72,000 rupees annually to the poorest 20% of families. And it was calculated that these are about 5 crore families. The BJP is going to the extent, led by none less than the Prime Minister himself, who has publicly taken positions. ये रेवड़ी बांटने वाली बड़ी पार्टियां आ गई हैं. A freebie which is being given to people, it's not just a constructive exercise which is taking place, it's an attempt directly to buy out a vote. Cometh election time, cometh the promises of freebies. And these freebies can be distributed in multiple ways. They can be straightforward cash transfers, as we've seen in the past, whether it's Lok Sabha elections or assembly elections. And now we're seeing in the state of Haryana, where the NDA, led by Nitish Kumar, who, by the way, has been chief minister for 20 long years now of Bihar, barring a small time in between. Even in that state, which has been ruled by the NDA for 2 full decades, the NDA is promising 10,000 rupees cash directly in women's accounts in the state and 125 units of free electricity. Rahul Gandhi, on the other hand, on the basis of the Mahagathbandhan, is promising not just these freebies, but he is going typically a couple of steps ahead. Rahul Gandhi has released a full 10-point charter giving commitments for the EBCs, for the MBCs, for the scheduled castes, for the STs, that even when it comes to allocation of government projects, in projects up to 25 crores, 50% reservation for these EBCs, MBCs and scheduled castes. Economically backward classes, most backward classes, scheduled castes. सुनने में ये सब बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Call it social justice, as many in the opposition say, and to be honest, many in the government also say. But the question is, hasn't the story of freebies, hasn't the story of revdi culture now played itself out over and over and over again in our country? Where is this going to stop? And at the end of the day, who's paying? My simple point is, if a government has delivered the goods, as most incumbent governments do, moment you have an election, moment there's a chief minister, suddenly there is some investment summit which takes place, suddenly there are all kinds of tall claims, 100-day program of governance, then there are anniversaries which are celebrated of good governance, by the way. Madhya Pradesh even has a good governance day, would you believe it? And still when it comes to elections, you are left with that single biggest USP of your government, which is to offer these freebies. That's why here on the Squirrels.in today, what we want to do is to make out a distinction between the Congress and the BJP when it comes to, is there any difference between the two sides when it comes to freebies? Just take a look at all the commitments which have been made by the Congress party over the last 6 to 7 years. Let's take you back to 2019. क्या है ना, कभी-कभी public memory is very short-lived. We forget. Remember those big hoardings? Whether you're in South Mumbai or you're in South Delhi or you're in Bangalore South, you'd have seen Congress, Nyay. That was a big picture with a big photograph of Rahul Gandhi, with pictures of the poor people. What was the commitment in 2019? Lok Sabha elections.
एक साल में 20% सबसे गरीब परिवारों को, हर जात, हर धर्म, हर भाषा के गरीब परिवारों को 72,000 रुपए साल के उनके बैंक अकाउंट में सीधा डाल दिया जाएगा.
Nyay scheme, 72,000 rupees annually to the poorest 20% of families. And it was calculated that these are about 5 crore families as a minimum income guarantee. Farm loan waivers were to be declared nationwide. 22 lakh government vacancies were supposed to be filled in. GST rates were supposed to be simplified. Education spending was supposed to be increased to 6% of GDP. Yet, what did the Congress do? This was immediately after the Pulwama incident, the unfortunate incident. The Lok Sabha elections took place and the Congress was down to 52 seats. Not too much of a difference between what had happened in 2014 or 2019. But that did not strike at the Congress's ability to keep making these announcements. In the subsequent assembly elections in Jharkhand, in Maharashtra and Haryana between 2019 and 2024, in Jharkhand, farm loan waivers up to 2 lakhs, minimum support price for paddy at 2,500 rupees per quintal. In Maharashtra and Haryana, recurring themes around farm loan waivers, around a commitment to be filling in all the government vacancies, and as usual, money which was to be given to women, money which was to be given to the poorest of the poor. 2022 assembly elections in Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat. In Himachal, 5 lakh jobs commitment by the Congress, 1,500 monthly to women in the age group of 18 to 60. In 2023, in Karnataka, 5 guarantees, 5 Nyay points. That was a big highlight. 200 units of free electricity, 2,000 monthly to women who were the head of family, Grey Lakshmi scheme. And then, of course, in Karnataka, the Congress ended up winning the election on the basis of these commitments. Point that I'm making here is this, that when it comes to winning an election, the BJP is also making similar commitments. The Congress is also making similar commitments. The BJP is going to the extent, led by none less than the Prime Minister himself, who has publicly taken positions. ये रेवड़ी बांटने वाली बड़ी पार्टियां आ गई हैं. This was what was stated by the Prime Minister on multiple occasions on the Lok Sabha election campaign. Now, yes, he came down from 303 to 240 in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. But still, when it came to that ROI, return on investment, return on commitment, so let's call it ROC between the Congress and the BJP, return on commitments to freebies, revdi culture, far more for the BJP than for the Congress. Now, does it mean that the Congress's arguments which are being made here, that there is a problem with the Election Commission, is it that this ROC is not working for the Congress party because of the Election Commission? Or does the answer lie somewhere else? Is it that while both sides stick to a similar campaign narrative, the BJP just has better election machinery and therefore it ends up trouncing the Congress party election after election? So when we look at Bihar, and when we look at caste and community and gender and district-wise, region-wise analysis, the one base point which is equally applicable for both sides is the commitment to freebies. What did the Supreme Court say? Let me run you through a Supreme Court oral observation which was passed by none less than Chief Justice B.R. Gavai himself while sitting on a bench with Justice Massey. In February 2025, this year itself, just a few months back. That's why I keep saying public memory na bahut short-lived hoti hai, public memory. Justice Gavai said, while listening to a petition about whether there should be something which should be done to increase the habitability of night shelters in that peak winter, Justice Gavai said, if you keep thinking of how to spend more on an existing freebie, will you not end up creating a nation of lazy people? Will you not end up creating a mechanism where in our society people will not work? This is what was said by none less than the Chief Justice in the month of February 2025. A few months before that, the Prime Minister himself was openly pleading about too much revdi culture. The Election Commission went to the extent of floating this proposition. People on behalf of the Election Commission are floating this proposition that before every election, when people make commitments, then should those commitments not be given like a guarantee itself? Much like now, when Rahul Gandhi is leveling allegations against the Election Commission of vote chori, what has the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Gyanesh Kumar, said? He has said, "Bhai, aapke paas agar proof hai, so please aap usko ek affidavit mein dijiye." I am saying, has the time come where we should start looking at these affidavits as the base for any political party to be making all these commitments? Because look at what happened in Maharashtra. Eknath Shinde, with much fanfare, launched the Ladki Bahin Yojana, Ladki Bahin scheme, where money was to be given to women in the state. The NDA wins the election. Devendra Fadnavis is back in the helm as Chief Minister. The overall number of beneficiaries in Maharashtra then starts suddenly being reworked. So, is it not true that somewhere all political parties, certainly the mainstream political parties like the Congress and the BJP, and on many instances, even regional parties, is it not true that before every election, political parties are now convinced that they have to come up with a model of freebies which works for them, which is like giving cash to people directly in their accounts and buying their votes? In India, it's a very, very difficult proposition. If you have a scenario where from the Election Commission to the Supreme Court to the Prime Minister of the country, everyone has openly spoken against too much freebies, has the time not come for us to start looking at whether there are too much freebies? Or as we had argued in this interview with Amitabh Tiwari of Vote Vibe, where his data was clearly showing that despite massive anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar, the one thing which was working the most was 125 units of free electricity and 10,000 rupees free to women. In a state where per capita income is 60,000 rupees, if you give 10,000 rupees directly to women, obviously it's going to have an impact. That's why this debate around freebies needs to be structured differently. It's not just a freebie which is being given to people. It's not just a constructive exercise which is taking place. It's an attempt directly to buy out a vote. Now, I won't go to the extent of saying that this is bribery of the voter, but I can't think of any other mechanism. In Bihar, all data which is being now shown, which has been reported on the squirrels.in on multiple occasions, and you can read these stories here on the squirrels.in, you will see how the momentum is shifting only and only because of the commitment to freebies. So what is Rahul Gandhi's fault then? Rahul Gandhi is also making the same commitment. After Bihar, it will be West Bengal, it will be Assam, it will be Punjab. Is there any election, and stay with that thought for a moment, is there any election in India which is possible today without a political party making a commitment of offering freebies? I want you to ponder over that thought because it impacts your future, it impacts our future. And what do you make out of this? You can leave your comments in our comment section below.